What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be designing this poster inspired by the Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, The Tale of the Vacant Lot. I'll be designing it using Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. Let's get started. So I've got my document here, and this document is 18 by 24 inches, and I've got these colors set up right here. These are the colors that I want to use for the poster. So this poster that we're going to be working on is actually inspired by an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode called The Tale of the Vacant Lot. And the summary of the episode is about this teenage girl who's very average, but she wants to be above average. So on her way home from school one day, she encounters this building, this ancient looking architectural building on this vacant lot. So that's where the episode gets its title from. And the building itself actually has these curtains or these veils that are kind of blowing off in the wind. So sometimes they have like this kind of natural curvature, or at least in my mind, that's kind of what I think of when I think of this episode. I always think of the structure. So I have this idea in my mind where I want the text to kind of help illustrate that. So I'm going to go ahead and type this out. The name of the episode. Let's make the vacant lot orange right here. And I'm going to use Acumen. Let's see what kind of options we have for doing this. I don't want condensed. I want to do kind of like maybe a medium weight or maybe even a light weight or something like that. But yeah, let's just kind of see what kind of options we have. I don't want to do wide, don't want to do condensed. So let's do maybe, I think I'll just go with light. Okay, center it. Let's move it down here. Now, I want the baseline to be right there where the document ends. Okay. Let's go ahead and make this optical kerning right here. And overall, it looks pretty good to me, so I'm just going to leave it exactly how it is. And I want it to go full width. Let's go back in and change that to where it should be snapping. I'm not sure why it's not. Okay, so in order to achieve this kind of curtain effect, I'm going to go up here to Object, Transform, and Transform Each. So we want it to be, we want the scale to be 85% on horizontal and vertical. It's going to move not in a horizontal direction, but it's going to move vertically, 1.5 inches up. And let's go ahead and hit Copy, and then hold down Command and D for Power Duplicate. So as you can see, as the text goes up, it gets smaller, and it's actually kind of created this illusion of these curtains on the side. So I really like that a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and align that directly to the top. And let's just see what happens if I do this. Select everything and then distribute. No, it doesn't work for me. Okay. So I think that I'll just leave that the way it is since I want it to be nice and even across everything. All right, so let's take maybe this size and we'll pull that out, rotate it. And like one of the taglines of this episode is everything comes with a price. Let's get that extra T out of there. Okay, and I think that I want this text in that light green right there. Everything comes with a price. And then we'll give a little bit of attribution to the episode itself. So obviously we already know the title of the episode, so we're just going to keep it. We're just going to keep the vacant lot appearing in that downward motion right there. But what we'll do is we'll do season 5, episode 11. And yes, I am that big of a geek that I know which episode it is. of which season. I don't know which episode it is overall though, so I guess I'm not a mega geek, but that's fine if anyone else is. So I also have this other idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not. So usually when I have an idea like this, I'll just kind of create an extra iteration of the project and see, just kind of try it out on here and see if it will work. So I'm going to select everything, deselect the background, deselect this bottom text right here because I don't want it to happen to all of these. So let's go over to blur and Gaussian blur. I'd like to blur the rest of these. Let's try maybe 20 pixels. And no, I think 20 is going to be a little bit too much. So let's take it down to 15. And one of the quotes from the episode itself is, "I have exactly what you need. Look closer." So I'd like to build that into the text a little bit. And let's actually start with the smallest one and see if I can do this. So look closer. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks good. I think that that's still legible, but I think what I'll do is I'll move down. Oops. I'll move down to this line and have that one say it. Maybe I'll skip one and do this. So this would be I have exactly, whoops, exactly what you need. Okay, so I think that that's going to work pretty well. The only thing we have to do here is adjust the tracking a little bit and maybe adjust the size since it is a little bit wider. So we need this to still maintain that effect. And I think that does it just fine. Look closer is going to have to be bumped up just a little bit, and then we'll kind of bring this out a little bit. Okay, I think that works really, really well. So now I'm going to grab everything that's here. Actually, let me do this first. Let me make sure that this is in the front. Good, that's in the front. And let's do this. I'd like to maybe lower the opacity of the background ones just a little bit. Let's see how well that translates. Let's go all the way down to 50. Okay, that's it's a little bit too dark. Let's bring it back up. Good. Okay, so I have exactly what you need. Skips a line. Look closer. That's good. All right, so let's grab all of this. You know what? Before we go over into Photoshop, I want to bring these weights up a little bit. Semi-bold looks good. All right, now we're going to select everything and bring it over into Photoshop. So we've got 18 by 24. Let's let that do its thing. 18 by 24. I'm going to bring it in as a smart object in case we need to go in and change anything. So it's always a good idea to do that. Bring these back to 100%. And then I'm going to, yeah, there we go. That's good. All right, so I'm going to rename this layer artwork. All right, so what this needs is we need to do a couple of things here. It needs a little bit of effect. I'm not gonna overdo it because I want to keep the overall design to be very simplistic and very minimal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some really slight effects here. So let's do a little bit of grain. And what I do here, sorry if I'm going too fast there, what I do is I do Shift Delete and that brings up fill, and I do 50% gray. Okay, so I'm going to go into here, Camera Raw Filter under Filter, and I want the grain to be probably around 75, the size to be about 25, and the roughness to be around 75. And sometimes I'll add a vignette, but I'm not going to do that today. So let's see how this looks, and at 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and change the blending mode of this to overlay. I think that might be a little bit too harsh. Let me see if any other blending modes might look better for this. That's interesting. Got like a speckling going on. Yeah, I think I might redo the grain. I think it's a little too heavy. So let's do this. I'd like to keep this to overlay because generally that's what works well to kind of really preserve those colors. So let's go maybe 25 on the grain. Actually, you know what? Let's do 75 on the grain and 25 on the size and roughness. I think that might be better. Okay, hit OK. Okay, that's good. Nice and light amount of grain there. I think that we may go in and may reach in to go pull some of those colors back because it is kind of dulling the colors. Divide is definitely making it a little bit too bright. So let's go in. Let me set this to overlay real quick. And I'll go into the artwork and we'll bring up some curves and we'll just see what we can do to bring back some of those colors. Okay, I think yeah, I think that does a good job with it. Still keeps it nice and vibrant. Now, there's one last thing that I think this is missing. Hang on one second. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Good. Okay, so now there's no white showing anywhere. Let's make sure that we do the same thing to the top. Well, it shouldn't be showing anyway. Let's see. There we go. We'll do that. And we'll do 101%. And align it to the bottom. Go. That looks good. Let's take a look at it again at 50%. Good. All right, we're in good shape. All right, so I think the last thing that's missing here is I'm going to add in some kind of a texture. So let's go over to Patterns and Overlay. This is my folder that I have under Design Resources. A lot of different things in here, textures, patterns, all kinds of stuff like that. So let's see what jumps out to me. I like this one. So let's drag this on top. And what we'll do is we'll do the same thing that we did for the grain. We'll just put this directly underneath there. Align it to the center, and then I'm going to pull it up to where it's same size, same dimensions, and then we're just going to cycle through the. One of the things I like to do is I just like to cycle through the blending modes just to see what is going to work best. And I think overall, generally what works best is overlay, but sometimes divide works really well. You know, it just depends on what you're doing. There we go. I like divide a lot. Let's see. Exclusion looks good. If we invert the colors, it kind of dulls it a little bit. So I think that I'll stick with divide. And let's get rid of. Let me see here. Let me look at it overall. I don't hate that crease in the middle, but I just don't think that it's appropriate, at least for this episode. But I am going to get rid of these kind of stain looking things here. So let's get rid of those. Everything else I'm fine with. I'm just going to take out this crease. And in case you're wondering, I am using, sorry, let's let it do its thing real quick. There we go. I'm using the spot healing brush tool. It's J on your keyboard. Okay, I think that looks really good. And what I'll do here, let's see, let's make sure, okay, I have exactly what you need. Look closer. Everything is still legible, and you can obviously, you know, starting around here or so, as it goes up, it gets less legible as it goes up, but that's totally fine. I think that we chose a really good line to say, you know, to have look closer right there because it's nice and small. And, you know, from a distance at first glance, it's going to look like everything says the vacant lot. But as it goes up a little bit higher, I have exactly what you need. Look closer. I think that's really cool. So is there anything else that we can do here? I don't want to do too much as far as effects and textures and things like that, because we want to really maintain that simplicity that I'm going for here. So I think that maybe, what if I added just a little bit more noise to that particular layer and have it only affect the texture layer? Man, it really brightened it, didn't it? A lot. Oh, that's right. I haven't actually selected a blending mode yet, but that's fine. All right, so let's just go down to divide. I think this is going to be the best one for working with greens. I don't think that, yeah, I don't think that that was a good idea. Oh wait, hue is good. Let's see. Did we actually get, we didn't actually get any of the noise though. Oops. Bring that back. I actually think, now that I'm looking at this, I think it's fine just the way it is. So let's go back to the healing brush tool. I want to get rid of this little artifact looking thing right here. Everything else is fine. I just didn't want it directly in the spot of text. Something like this is okay. I just didn't want it right there on the text. So yeah, I think this is looking good. I think I'm happy with this. Let me see what's going on here. I think one thing that I might do is I may apply a slight Gaussian blur here to make sure that it doesn't look so clean. Okay, that's looking cool. I like that a lot. Let's make sure that everything is still legible. I think it is. So let's go out to 50%. Okay, I have exactly what you need. Look closer. Okay, good. And we've added that little bit extra just to make it look like the type wasn't slapped on top of a whole bunch of artwork here. It actually looks like it's part of the artwork, part of the paper, and I think that we're good. Gaussian blur does wonders. So, all right, I think that we are good here, and here is the final poster. I'm very, very happy with it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and it will keep more videos like this coming. See you next time. Bye-bye.